Howdy do! So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about my predictions for the LCS Spring Finals of the 2016 season, as well as the third place matchups. And I'm going to start with the third place matchups as a matter of fact because those start first. And starting first will be the EU LCS. Third place matchup at a whole 8 a.m. in the morning. That's a very painful time to wake up because sleep is irrelevant, obviously. But no, it's just time zone things. That's what happens when you live on the West Coast and you try and watch the EU LCS to begin with. But anyway, H2K versus Fnatic. And here's the problem with this matchup, is that Fnatic is living the darkest timeline. We're talking lightning storms, dark clouds swirling, the androids have killed everybody, the tripods are coming, the sentinels are hunting down mutants. Timeline, because somehow Fnatic is not going to win Europe. Europe has changed forever now. And here's the problem, though. The problem is they're somehow going to still win. And I don't mean this match. I mean, they're still going to somehow win Europe. Like, somehow the match is going to go, some rule stipulation is going to come up, and they're just going to slide their way on into the finals. And then they're just going to win the finals. That's just how that works. It's Fnatic. It's Europe. This is how things go. Or, of course, H2K could just win because Fnatic is, in fact, living the darkest reality. And for some reason, they're just not winning anything. Winning is just not in their vocabulary for some reason. And and on a serious note, it's a rebuilding process for Fnatic. I don't think too many people would be terribly disappointed, even if they don't win this match, because they're just kind of rebuilding right now. They probably bounce back better in the summer anyway, and right now it was more about just vibing and getting some synergy. I'm not trying to give them an excuse to try and say they're sandbagging or anything, because oh boy, sandbags. China. Good thing we're not talking about China in this video. I got my own beefs with China. Let's keep it to the LCS in this one, though. So H2K could very easily win this match, and the Fnatic could just recover and rebound for the summer split because it's a rebuilding process, while H2K, it's kind of not. They kind of already have a bunch of stuff established. So moving on to Immortals versus Team Liquid. That ought to be a great match, except that I think they have it wrong on paper because it says Immortals versus Team Liquid, and I'm pretty sure they're not immortal. And you don't lose 0-3 and then you can be immortal. Like, maybe the thing is that they just listened to that Fallout Boy song on repeat from, I believe, Big Hero 6. That might be it. That's the problem. But here's how this is going to go. This is going to go like this. Dardoch, you remember that interview he had after they lost his Technologic Gaming, okay? So he's about to go Super Saiyan on, like, Planet Namek against MIT, who just unfortunately lost out on their wish to become immortal, as a matter of fact. And so it's just not going to end very well for Immortals, because I don't have a clue what happened in the weeks that they were practicing, but I think I'll say this, and a whole bunch of other people have already said it, so it's kind of irrelevant. But I think it was on the grounds they pretty much said they wanted to play the game their way, and that it was a wake-up call. They can't play the game their way. They should try and playing some more meta stuff. We'll see. I don't know if they fix that in this short of a time, but, I mean, Jenner fixed their stuff quick enough to go beat Afrika Freaks, who everybody thought would actually make it, like, I don't know what that was about either. People actually thought they were going to make it far in the playoffs. I could question that in another video. Let's keep it LCS. So G2 versus Origin, however you want to pronounce it. It still comes up Origin winning because they're the OGs versus G2. And I'm sorry, but we're on G6s now. I don't know if that memo didn't catch over because, you know, like it's in the rap songs and everything. They're on flying high like a G6, not a G2. That's behind. And there's a difference between just being the older veterans and then being just behind the times. Okay, experience, first of all. Second of all, that you're not behind the times. That was a miss. That was not a good idea. I'm sorry, G2. I'm terribly sorry, but that's all Origin. And finally, TSM versus Counter Logic Gaming. I don't know how Counter Logic Gaming actually ever wins anything if they game counter-logically. I don't know how exactly that works. I know that's been made fun of long before me, and that'll be made fun of long after me. But at the same time, how exactly does that work? I'm not sure. But obviously TSM's going to win because it's TSM and it's North America. Like, if we talked about Fnatic in Europe earlier, the flip side is TSM to North America, right? And the thing about TMSing is that somehow, even if they lose, you could say they win because their fans, the support that they get from them is so overwhelming. It can be so suffocating if you're on the receiving end of it that you didn't necessarily want to come across that. And Mountain Standard Time, MST, TSM, however, they go in a certain combination. It works. It's like a passcode. or a Rubik's Cube. It really doesn't matter. In their defense, and like again, another serious note, they have been looking like they've gotten better somehow. I don't know how that works. They're usually called a playoff team, a series team, and we're in the playoffs, we're in the series. So sure enough, they're playing better, but at the same time, it's kind of confusing how exactly that's happening, but it's happening. And you know what? It's the plot armor. It's plot armor. Here we go. And then the next TSM Legends could be called something like TSM Legends episode like 13 or 14, whatever the heck they're on. We always knew we could. There are just some hiccups and bumps in the road, and some obstacles, and some roadblocks, and some learning curves, and some setbacks, and Weldon, and Knuckles, and, you know, just a whole bunch of other stuff that they could say about that. But that's exactly why the finals are going to go exactly like I just said they're going to go. It's going to go H2K, Team Liquid, Origin, and TSM. Okay, so by the way, in case it wasn't clear, I'm being jokish right now too. Like if you came to this video for like really actual like analysis, I could try really quick to run down because this video is already over 6 minutes. But if you want me to give like actual analysis, I'll still stick by those picks to make it interesting. But I'll give some actual analysis here. And I think again, okay, so Fnatic is in something of a rebuilding process. So it's not that they can't win this series. It's not that they can't take us to 5 games. I just think H2K isn't rebuilding. So I think they have a better chance of just going into this game already established on their team synergy and stuff like that and what they want to do. Not that Fnatic can't do things against that. Not that Fnatic, especially if they get their picks, like they get the Jhin and stuff on Reckless, couldn't do some damage and possibly win this game. I just think it's going to come up H2K at the end of the day. With Immortals versus Team Liquid, I'm hesitant to say that Immortals will actually perform any better than they already did against TSM. But they've had a week to practice. They've had this wake-up call. Who knows what they may or may not have fixed? And in fact, Immortals could do something. Who knows? But I'm just going to call it as Team Liquid, though, because I think Team Liquid, they're more angry at their loss than Immortals might be. Because Immortals feel like they lost because they tried to play the game their way, and they're finding out it doesn't work, so they can just have to play to like the actual meta, and that's fine. While Team Liquid, Dardoch, I was making the joke about the Super Saiyan. He does seem actually mad, but like in a good way, like the competitive spirit way. So that's why I'm saying Team Liquid could possibly win this, in my opinion. G2 versus Origin, I think G2 has surprised me a lot more than I thought they would after watching them in Challenger. Not saying they were bad in Challenger, but I mean, it's Challenger, so it's never the stage, right? But with that said, I still do think as long as Xpeke plays, nothing against Power of Evil too. Like he did show up a little bit in this last series. But I think if Xpeke even subs in a couple times, if it goes 5 games, he's him in 2, then yeah, Origin could definitely clean this up. Power of Evil probably could step up and actually perform as well. And overall, I'm still giving at least the edge to Origin. I can't say G2 can't win this. G2 obviously, you know, they're in the finals for a reason, but I am saying I favor Origin. Let's just put it that way. And then finally, TSM versus Chronologic Gaming. TSM has been looking ridiculously better than they did all split. And it's not that Chronologic Gaming hasn't. I just think before TSM's thing was they didn't have the team synergy, but they had the mechanically skilled players to do what they needed to do. Now it's starting to seem like they're starting to have that synergy and being able to work as a team. And they still have those mechanically good players. So CLG isn't necessarily going to get stomped, but I think TSM is actually it's not going to necessarily be a rematch of the summer finals back in 2015. So on a slightly more serious note, that would be my quick analysis. I could make like an hour-long video, but I'm not going to. This video is already too long. That would be my analysis about who's going to actually win these games tomorrow and Sunday. And we're just going to have to wait and see, I guess, because obviously they haven't happened yet. So, yeah. That takes care of that. So that's all for this video. I don't know what the next video is going to be because life is full of a lot of kinks. But until next time, take care. GG, get jinxed.